A gray dawn, silent except for the scrape of sandals on marble. In a humble Roman courtyard, Musonius Rufus begins to teach. He's not the most famous Stoic, but perhaps he's the most quietly essential. His lessons run underneath the surface, like a cold current beneath calm water. Most of his students won't become emperors. A few will face slavery. Some will simply lose themselves to the noise of daily life. Yet his challenge remains. How do you learn humility in a world addicted to comparison, entitlement, control? The things you think about determine the quality of your mind. Your soul takes on the color of your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius said, "The things you think about determine the quality of your mind. Your soul takes on the color of your thoughts." It sounds simple, almost obvious, yet this is the ground Stoics walk upon. Where does your mind go first thing in the morning? Regret, worry, envy, hunger for more? These thoughts stain the mood of your entire day. Quietly, slowly, the soul takes on their color. Musonius Rufus taught that we must select our thoughts as carefully as food. You wouldn't eat spoiled meat, so why feed yourself old grudges, jealousies, or anxiety about things out of your control? Modern life is a buffet of poison and nourishment mixed together. One scroll through social media can bathe you in envy before your coffee cools. Musonius offers a practice. Treat your mind's diet with as much discipline as you treat your body's. Notice what colors your thoughts, and do not let them bleed into the rest of your life. Look inward. Don't let the special quality or value of anything escape you. Marcus Aurelius said, "Look inward. Don't let the special quality or value of anything escape you." The impulse is always to look outward. What do others have that I lack? What are they thinking of me? What am I missing out on? But wisdom, real, cultivated humility begins with the opposite movement. Look inward. Musonius knew hardship. He was exiled, ridiculed, surrounded by politics and pretense. His humility was not passivity. It was the discipline of always returning to the source. What lives inside you? What can never be taken away? What is unique about your perception, your character? In the world of endless distraction, this inward look is a rebellion, a quiet revolt against letting the world appraise your worth. Whatever else happens today, do not outsource your value. The properties of a rational soul: it sees itself, it shapes itself, it makes itself whatever it chooses to be, it reaps its own harvest. Marcus Aurelius said, "The properties of a rational soul: it sees itself, it shapes itself, it makes itself whatever it chooses to be, it reaps its own harvest." Humility is not self-erasure. It is power used wisely, because it comes from knowing oneself. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor-philosopher, learned this through the chaos of governing Rome. You can see yourself honestly. You can choose your shape daily. The soul is both the field and the farmer, reaping its own harvest. The man or woman who forgets this falls to fate, acts out scripts assigned by others, becomes prey to the judgments of strangers. But the humble person, Musonius would argue, has a kind of silent confidence, not the puffed-up pride that comes from applause, but a steadiness born of self-accountability. It isn't easy. Each day you are asked, will you let circumstance shape you, or will you shape your own response? Of all the faculties, you will find not one which is capable of contemplating itself, and therefore not one which is capable either of approving or disapproving. How far does the grammar faculty possess the power of contemplating? Only so far as to judge about language. But how far does the faculty of reason possess this power? It contemplates both itself and everything else. Epictetus said, "Of all the faculties, you will find not one which is capable of contemplating itself, and therefore not one which is capable either of approving or disapproving." How far does the grammar faculty possess the power of contemplating? Only so far as to judge about language. But how far does the faculty of reason possess this power? It contemplates both itself and everything else. Here, Epictetus, himself a former slave, later a fierce and loving teacher, narrows the focus. Only reason, he says, can turn inward, can judge itself as well as the world. The body hungers, the mind can crave or chatter. Only your faculty of reason can watch itself, notice its own colors, correct its own excess. This is what so many self-help gurus miss. Real self-mastery isn't dominant force, it's humble attention, the courage to watch your thinking and the humility to adjust it. In a modern world of hot takes and reactions, what if real wisdom is found in a pause, an honest internal audit before you speak or act? That's where humility breeds resilience. Do you ask what is the foundation of a sound mind? It is not to find pleasure in useless things. The foundation is to have a clear, unclouded view of the truth, to value nothing as your own possession which can be taken from you, to count as pleasurable those things only which truly are pleasurable, to seek no greater blessings than those which you can win for yourself. Seneca said, "Do you ask what is the foundation of a sound mind? It is not to find pleasure in useless things. The foundation is to have a clear, unclouded view of the truth, to value nothing as your own possession which can be taken from you, to count as pleasurable those things only which truly are pleasurable, to seek no greater blessings than those which you can win for yourself." This is a call for subtraction. The modern mind is heavy with clutter, notifications, opinions, status, stuff. Seneca, who wrote this facing threats of assassination and betrayal, names humility as a form of simplicity. Do not cling to what can be taken. Do not chase pleasure in things that leave you emptier. If you've ever felt hollow after scrolling, after spending, after winning an argument online, Seneca's diagnosis echoes in you. Humility is the refusal to be owned by worthless things, to find deep steadiness in what cannot be stolen. Try this today. See if you can let one unnecessary craving pass without feeding it. Stand in that tiny, uncomfortable wilderness and notice the peace on the other side. None of these things are ours. They have flowed to us through others, have merely passed through us. So let us say goodbye to those things which belong to others, and let us steer our minds to the finding of truth. Seneca said, "None of these things are ours. They have flowed to us through others, have merely passed through us. So let us say goodbye to those things which belong to others, and let us steer our minds to the finding of truth." All of it, wealth, reputation, even our strongest talents, has come to us by 1,000 accidents of birth, nurture, and sheer luck. Humility is not a story of loss, but of unburdening. What passes through us was never fully ours. Musonius Rufus, the man who taught Epictetus, shaped generations, lived this. Twice exiled by Roman emperors, stripped of what he'd built, and still he taught, still he found his center. The measure of a life for Musonius was not how much you grasped, but how much truth you served. Steer your mind, he would say. Let your worth be anchored in something lasting. Do not waste what remains of your life in speculating about your neighbors, unless with a view to some mutual benefit. To wonder what so-and-so is doing and why, or what he is saying or thinking or scheming. In a word, anything that distracts you from fidelity to the ruler within you. Marcus Aurelius said, "Do not waste what remains of your life in speculating about your neighbors, unless with a view to some mutual benefit." To wonder what so-and-so is doing and why, or what he is saying or thinking or scheming. In a word, anything that distracts you from fidelity to the ruler within you. Much of our anxiety comes from borrowed concerns. Comparing ourselves to others, projecting meanings onto their words and glances, imagining what roles we play in the private theaters of other people's minds. Marcus Aurelius, breathing the cold night air in his campaign tent, forced himself gently back to his own center, the ruler within. Musonius Rufus amplified this message, not to encourage selfishness, but to place responsibility back in your hands. Let the world spin its stories. Regard your neighbor with fairness, but don't waste the scarce days of your life on gossip, envy, or suspicion. Today, when you catch your thoughts wandering to some drama you cannot control, use the moment as Musonius would, as a prompt to return inward, to the small realm you truly govern. Musonius Rufus did not write many books. Most of what survives comes through the memories of his students, ephemeral, half-remembered, passed on like a whispered flame. But this too is humility, to live a life that matters less for what remains in ink than what remains alive in others. To learn humility is not to hide or belittle yourself. It is to stand in honest proportion to the world, to notice what is fleeting, to hold lightly what is on loan, to focus your mind as you focus your gaze, straightforward, clear, unclouded by the noise that can so easily sweep you off course. The world will give you every reason to believe you must grasp, compare, prove, hoard. Musonius and other Stoics like him offer a quieter possibility. Choose your thoughts as you would choose your company. Tend your soul as you would tend a flame. Deliberate, aware that what's brightest can also be most easily bothered by wind. If you are feeling lost tonight, uncertain where to plant your feet or how to steady your mind, know this: nothing permanent comes from things borrowed or from chasing illusions that cannot last. Start with what nobody else can steal: your attention, your honesty, your readiness to learn from every turn of fortune. Musonius Rufus would call that the first step toward wisdom. If this spoke to you, there are more lives like his, waiting quietly among Stoic words, ready to kindle something solid where you stand.